in Game 7, Jamal Murray didn't play well, and most people thought Dame Lillard had the better game. It was really C.J. McCollum that closed out Game 7 in Portland last year to advance to the Western Conference Final. So I said to myself, if this team comes back healthy, if Michael Malone continues to let them grow, and Sam, you know this, and Ro, you've been around the NBA long enough, we always talk about this being a make-miss league. Well, the Clippers let the Nuggets start making some shots, getting comfortable, and last but not least, they played enough defense to get over the hump, and that's what gave Coach Mike Malone, the guys, freedom on the offensive end. So that's why I think they're a dangerous team going to this Western Conference Final.
They definitely smell blood in the water, and they seized that moment, making history in the process, knocking out the LA Clippers. Now they face the other team from Los Angeles. Hey, the Lakers were superior during the regular season, going 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets. However, this Denver squad is built a little different right now. Mike Malone, tell us about it.
We still have a lot of work to do. Western Conference Finals, we know we're playing a very talented and well-rested Laker team. But I do know this, our guys are up for that challenge.
We know what we got. And when we're all clicking, when we're making shots like that and playing defense together, you know, we're a top 4 team, top 3 team in the league. And we're trying to prove to be the number 1. We've been doing this. I don't know how many times we got to prove it over. You know, we've been doing this, and we have the talent to do it.
The confidence that they're playing with, the chip on their shoulder that they're playing with was really noticeable. Obviously, they're a very resilient group to come back from 3-1 twice in the same year, and we're going to have to play great to beat them.
They have a lot of fight. They don't really quit. They always, trying to play to win, no matter if they're down 19, which they were in Game 5 and 6, still coming back and winning. So it kind of just tells you the story of what kind of heart that team has.
Obviously, I have the utmost respect for LeBron James. Had a chance to coach him for 5 years, know who he is and what he's about. And I'm sure he was watching every one of our games, taking notes, because his intelligence is off the charts.
Yeah, Joker is one of the most unique players in the world, and one of the most unique players ever to play the center position in this league. They understand his ability to pass the basketball and do a great job speed cutting through the lane, and it make it very difficult to guard. It does make this series a little different, a lot different actually than last series. Obviously, we're going to be the LA Lakers, who we've been all year. We adjusted to a small ball team last series, but I would expect us to return to form.
Taking a look at the tail of the tape, as I mentioned, the Lakers won the series 3-1, and now they face in the Western Conference. LeBron did not play, and the Lakers only lost. You see Jamal Murray's numbers. They're a little bit higher now in the postseason. Anthony Davis doing AD things as usual for the Lakers. So 3D, obviously our friends in the desert, and the history favors the Lakers right now. Looking at the series in the past, the Lakers are 6-0 in series against the Nuggets. However, we know that these Denver Nuggets are constructed just a little bit different now, and they're into breaking history. Where do the Nuggets have the advantage in this series?
Well, I look at the way Jamal Murray is playing right now. It starts with him because he can flat out shoot the ball anywhere on the floor. And Sam, right now, the pick and roll, the way they run it and team switching, he takes full advantage of the big guy when he switches off. So if you see these clips right here, if the Lakers center does not step up, this is where Jamal Murray is going to attack this defense. And oh yeah, they like ball movement, great player movement, and like Coach Malone talked about, and like Coach Vogel talked about, the Joker is the best passing big man in our game today. So that defense for the Lakers really has to step up and be focused. And Sam, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know what you're thinking, but I think Anthony Davis has to play more 5 in this series. Sorry, Dwight Howard. It's not Dwight Howard from Orlando. Sorry, JaVale McGee. It's not the way you played. You played with the Golden State Warriors. You won a championship. Anthony Davis, you're that defensive guy. You need to guard the Joker and shut him down. Otherwise, I'm sticking with the Nuggets.
Yeah, 3D. Look, man, I'm with you. Look, I think AD should be at the 5, but not for defense to stop the Joker. I think he's got to put the pressure on the Joker. The Joker cannot guard Anthony Davis. And look what Denver did to the Clippers. The Clippers had no matchup for the Joker. So they were running around trying to trap him on all spots of the floor. The Lakers can do the same thing to this Denver Nuggets team. And I agree with you, 3D. If you start Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee, then you're playing right into the Denver Nuggets' hand. You got to play AD at the 5, and you got to have Denver going into this series trying to figure out how we're going to give the best center in the league help against the most versatile 5-man in the league, and Anthony Davis when he plays the 5. And along that 3D, Michael Porter and Grant, they're going to have to match up with LeBron James and do a good job. They have length, they have athleticism, they have size. They're going to have to focus and make LeBron James work. And when you say what Denver have the advantage, look, man, anytime you got the best center in a series, and if LeBron James not playing the point, the best point is Jamal Murray with Denver, then you got a puncher's chance to win this series.
Can't wait to see the strategy. We mentioned Mike Malone. We heard Mike Malone say, obviously, he has a relationship with LeBron, coached him for 5 seasons in Cleveland. So can't wait to see that X's and O's, seeing the coach on the floor against the actual head coach for the Denver Nuggets. Well, staying with the LA theme, and it's definitely not a good one, thinking about those Lakers, but let's focus on the Clippers, who were eliminated unceremoniously by these Nuggets. It wasn't good after the game. Kawhi, your thoughts?
Seeing how we could get some execution down the stretch, guys knowing exactly where they need to be in crunch time or in situations where we can't put the ball in the hole. And you know those are the big things. That's what championship teams have.
It's the first time I've been in that situation where we're expected to win. Fact of the matter is we didn't live up to that expectation. But I think internally we've always felt this is not a championship or bust year for us.
Clippers eliminated in 7 games, multiple double-digit leads blown. Now, Doc Rivers, he's done an amazing job guiding his franchise through the Donald Sterling debacle. His leadership verbally and his stance on social justice is more than admirable, but at the end of the day, it's a bottom-line business. Take a look at the screen. The numbers don't necessarily favor Doc when it comes to his playoff performances. That 2008 title is huge. But outside of that, and Coach, I'll start with you on this one. Is it time for Los Angeles to move on from Doc Rivers?
Man, why would you pull that rabbit out the hat? Look, bro, that's not my job to decide on whether Doc Rivers should be the coach. I would say no from this standpoint, bro. They only had about 19 games together as a complete unit. I think for this team going forward, if it was me, I would focus my concentration on Zubac. If you're going to have to beat the Denver Nuggets, you've already learned you can't put Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, or the 6th man of the year, Montrezl Harrell, on the Joker. He's too big. You have a guy in Zubac that has the size. You got to instill in him confidence. He's got to get in the lab and start working on his footwork, working on his game. He's got to be able to Joker because his size, he can battle the Joker size-wise. So when you look at this Clipper team, I'm going to say no, don't break the band up yet. They've only had 19 games together. And 3D, I kept saying this. We knew the Clippers weren't the best team. They had the best talent. And I kept saying throughout the playoffs, we're going to find out, bro, I think I did the show with you. We're going to find out whether the best talent can beat the best basketball team. Because I felt like Denver and the Lakers were better basketball teams, but the Clippers had the most talent. And Denver, hey, man, the better basketball team won. And what Doc is going to have to do is go back and show all that one-on-one individual offensive play throughout this playoff and let this team know that, hey, we got some great players, but unless we play as a team, we're just going to come up short each and every year.
Obviously.
And to add to that, hey, Ro, to add to that, too, because I'm not picking on Kawhi, I'm not picking on the system, but to Sam's point, when you only play, 19 games as a whole unit, you're trying to go into the playoffs, it's hard to find that chemistry overnight. But with Denver being so deep, they didn't even have Will Barton. People forget about that. That's another rotational guy that starts. And Will Barton's not even there, so it proves and shows you again how deep the Denver Nuggets is. So to Sam's point, now Lawrence Frank and Doc Rivers and their brain trust, they have to sit down and say, how do we make our bench deeper and more effective? Because we know Kawhi is going to miss some games. We know Paul George may miss some games. So when you look around the NBA, the teams who are able to survive are teams who have deeper benches because of injuries and load management. So that's something I think the Clippers have to figure out for next year.
A lot of things to figure out for the Clippers. They have no draft picks coming up for a number of years. And, of course, that cap situation. We know Ballmer will spend money, but there's going to be a lot of issues coming up for the Clippers to address in the offseason. Well, we still have plenty to address right here on Playoff Central Live. His name is Sekou Smith. He is down in the bubble. He has all the